Hello everyone, welcome back once again to GSTEF TV, the platform where nothing hides, nothing sleeps, and nothing escapes these streets. This is where fictional Nollywood meets drama, emotions, secrets, and unexpected twists that will make you pause your entire day just to follow what is unfolding. Before I dive deep into this gist, make sure you click that subscribe button because what you are about to hear today is one of those stories that goes beyond acting, beyond friendship, and beyond the polished world you see on screen. This is the kind of gist that crawls into the quiet corners of the industry and whispers, "Are you sure you know these people as well as you think you do?" Now sit tight because the fire that brewed between Maurice and Sonia Uche inside this fictional Nollywood universe was hotter than any romantic scene they have ever filmed. The gist begins inside a fictional high-budget Nollywood studio, one of those studios known for producing blockbuster romances that trend for weeks. The studio's executives had been searching for a perfect pair to headline a new romantic drama project, something grand, something emotional, something that would shake the fictional streaming world to its foundation. Naturally, two names dominated every suggestion list, Maurice and Sonia Uche. Their fictional chemistry in past films was said to be electric, the type that made viewers question whether the emotions were scripted or whether something unspoken was hiding behind the softness in their scenes. Their pairing meant guaranteed attention, guaranteed views, and guaranteed noise. The executives wanted them. The investors wanted them. Even fans in this fictional world had been begging for another collaboration. But in the middle of all the excitement, something else was brewing, something twisted, something unnecessary, something that would soon cause tension and nearly tear the fictional partnership apart. According to the story, the executives met secretly to design a contract so unique, so controversial, and so bold that even they were unsure whether the actors would accept it. Their aim was simple: they wanted publicity. In the fictional universe, the studio believed that drama sells, and tension creates buzz. They wanted to elevate the movie from just another romantic drama to the film everyone is watching because of the mystery surrounding it. So they added a clause, one single clause, that changed the entire tone of the contract. The clause stated that Maurice and Sonia Uche would both receive their normal acting fees, but only one of them would receive the back-end royalties. Only one. And the decision would be based on feedback collected from a fictional test audience. Whichever actor viewers rated higher after the test screening would be the sole recipient of the long-term earnings. That meant one person would walk away with millions, while the other got nothing except their base payment. The moment the executives approved that clause, they had no idea they had planted a time bomb that would explode in slow motion. The contract was delivered quietly, sealed in glossy envelopes with gold trimming, the kind of presentation designed to disguise the chaos hidden inside. Maurice received his copy first. He opened it in his fictional apartment, scanned through the pages with excitement, and then paused when his eyes landed on the clause. At first, he thought he misunderstood it. He read it again, and then sat back in disbelief. He wondered why a studio would intentionally create a competition between two people who had built an easy, comfortable working relationship for years. He knew Sonia. He knew how committed she was, how sensitive she could be when producers tried to pit actors against each other. He felt uneasy. On the other side of town, Sonia sat inside her fictional makeup room when her contract arrived. She opened it, expecting something straightforward, something professional, something respectful. But when she reached the clause about the test audience deciding who would earn the royalties, she froze. She blinked at the paper for several seconds, her chest rising and falling slowly. A small part of her felt insulted. Another part felt manipulated. But the biggest part felt confused. Why would a studio try to use rivalry as marketing? Why try to make her compete with someone she genuinely respected? Before either of them could process it fully, the rumor somehow leaked. Nobody knew who said what, or which assistant whispered where, but within 24 hours, the entire fictional online community went up in flames. Fans started debating non-stop. Some accused the studio of wickedness for placing financial pressure on the actors. Others believed it was a strategic move to test who truly carried their past films. The timeline was on fire. Polls appeared everywhere. People asked who acted better, who had more emotional range, who brought more intensity. And because fans rarely agree on anything peacefully, the arguments escalated. Some fictional fans shouted Maurice's name with confidence, saying he had the depth, the passion and the skills needed to dominate the test audience. They claimed people still hadn't recovered from his last emotional performance in a previous fictional film. But Sonia's supporters pushed back with equal fire, insisting she had unmatched subtlety, unmatched grace and unmatched emotional delivery, the kind that doesn't shout but still grabs you by the heart. The buzz grew louder every hour. Fake blogs in the fictional universe wrote dramatic headlines. Fan pages ran exaggerated rumors. People began creating imaginary storylines about the contract battle, some claiming Maurice was secretly preparing extra rehearsals just to outperform Sonia, while others insisted Sonia was quietly polishing her monologues to ensure she dominated every scene. Nobody realized that both actors were actually upset at the studio, not at each other. Inside the fictional production building, things were spiraling. The executives had wanted excitement, but they didn't expect this level of chaos. Sponsors became nervous. Some investors wondered whether the actors would quit. And the studio's PR team began drafting statements in case everything collapsed. Meanwhile, Maurice and Sonia finally met privately. According to the gist, they sat across from each other inside a quiet film office, scripts spread across the table, faces tight with frustration. The air between them was neither angry nor cold, but heavy with unspoken questions and confused emotions. Maurice reportedly told her he didn't like the contract. Sonia told him she felt the same way. He said he didn't want to compete with her. She nodded and said she wouldn't participate in anything that tried to turn friendship into rivalry. They agreed that the studio had crossed a line, and that both of them would need to take a stand. The twist came on the day of the fictional test screening. The studio had already organized the event, invited the panel, set up the projectors, and told the press to expect something major. But instead of quietly enduring the evaluation, Maurice and Sonia made a decision that shocked the executives to their core. They arrived together, walking side by side, and informed the studio that they would not take part in any competitive clause. They would not accept a contract that placed one of them above the other. They would not allow any producer to weaponize their chemistry for chaos. They stood there with confidence, with unity, with a shared refusal that shook the entire fictional boardroom. The executives panicked. Investors threatened to pull out. The PR team started sweating. The project was about to collapse before it even started. And in a desperate attempt to save the film, the studio agreed, right there on the spot, to remove the controversial clause. Both actors would receive equal royalties. No competition. No audience rating. No rivalry. But even after the clause was removed, the damage had already been done. The fictional online world had watched the entire drama unfold. Fans had taken sides, argued, attacked each other, and created fantasies about who was better. And though Maurice and Sonia walked out of that boardroom united, the noise outside didn't stop. People kept arguing for days. Some continued blaming the studio. Others claimed Maurice and Sonia were just pretending to be unbothered. A few said the whole contract drama was a publicity stunt. The conversation spread so wide that even unrelated celebrities in the fictional universe began giving opinions. The funniest part of the entire gist came from the fans themselves. One fictional fan said he would rather faint than choose between Maurice and Sonia. Another said anyone who supported rivalry should be banned from Nollywood. Someone else wrote that the studio should apologize publicly with a cake. And another fan screamed that Maurice and Sonia were a national treasure and should never be put in that kind of situation again. In the end, the fictional studio got exactly what it wanted, attention. But it also got more backlash than it expected. Maurice and Sonia continued the project together, but everyone who witnessed the storm knew that this was one of the closest moments the duo had ever come to being pulled apart by a contract that was supposed to bring them together. And that is how one ridiculous clause nearly broke the fictional Nollywood universe.